Some stories are so chilling, so deeply unsettling, that they linger with you long after you've heard them. What happened on the Hinterkaifeck farm in Germany is one of those stories. A nightmare that continues to haunt the darkest corners of true crime and the supernatural. This is a story of murder, mystery, and a chilling presence that never left. A real-life horror that still chills the bones of those who dare to remember. In the remote forests of southern Germany, about 70 miles north of Munich, stood the Hinterkaifeck farm, isolated, cut off from the nearest town by dense woods. It was a place that only a few knew well. The farm was home to the Gruber family. Andreas, his wife Cecilia, their daughter Victoria, and 2 grandchildren, 7-year-old Joseph and 2-year-old Maria. But the Grubers were not alone in their solitude. They had a strange, unsettling presence that seemed to linger on the property, something that watched them from the woods. For months leading up to the horrific events of March 1922, there were strange occurrences at the Hinterkaifeck farm. The family reported hearing footsteps in the attic at night. Sometimes strange, shadowy figures were seen lurking in the woods surrounding the house. But the most disturbing part, the family swore they could hear someone in the house when no one was supposed to be there. It was as if they were being watched from the inside. At first, the family suspected it was just the wind or animals, but as time went on, they became more and more paranoid, and they weren't alone in their fear. The farm's maid, Maria Baumgartner, had only just started working there, and she, too, reported hearing the unsettling noises in the attic. But things would soon spiral into something far worse than anyone could have imagined. The murder. In the early hours of March 31, 1922, something horrific happened on the Hinterkaifeck farm. It was during the night that someone, or something, entered the house and systematically murdered the entire family. First, Andreas Gruber, the patriarch, was struck down in the barn. Then, one by one, the rest of the family was butchered in their beds. Cecilia, his wife, Victoria, his daughter, little Joseph and Maria, the grandchildren. The maid, Maria Baumgartner, was also found murdered in her room. But here's the chilling detail that makes this story even more terrifying. After killing them, the murderer stayed in the house for days. For 3 days. During this time, the killer lived in the farmhouse. They ate the family's food, slept in their beds, and even fed the livestock. Neighbors who came to check on the farm said nothing seemed out of the ordinary. They only noticed that the family hadn't come out of the house for several days. When the police finally arrived, they made a chilling discovery. The bodies were found in different rooms, scattered as if the killer had methodically moved from one victim to the next. The mystery of the footsteps. But what really haunts this story to this day, and what has kept investigators baffled for over a century, is the fact that the murderer never seemed to leave. After the bodies were discovered, authorities found footprints in the snow around the house. Strangely, the tracks led right up to the farmhouse, but there were no signs of the killer leaving. It was as if the murderer had vanished into thin air. Could the killer have hidden in the attic, as the family had feared for months? Theories and the unknown. Over the years, many theories have emerged. Some say the killer was someone the family knew, possibly a disgruntled servant or a family member. Others believe it was someone living in the woods who had been watching them for months, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. To this day, the case remains unsolved. No one knows who committed this grisly crime. No one knows why the murderer stayed in the house for days afterward, or why they didn't attempt to escape the authorities. Some even suggest that the farmhouse was cursed, that there was something far darker at work. Some believe the spirits of the Gruber family still haunt the farm, seeking justice for their brutal deaths. The Hinterkaifeck murders remain one of the most terrifying unsolved mysteries of all time. A family torn apart, a killer who disappeared without a trace, and a place that still sends chills down the spine of anyone who dares to venture too close. Is the Hinterkaifeck farm truly abandoned, or is something still watching, waiting? What if the killer never left? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on more spine-chilling true crime and horror stories from around the world. Leave a comment below if you think you know what happened at Hinterkaifeck, or if you think the truth is even darker than we can imagine.